that specialised in my diagnosis at the time. I had dialectical behaviour therapy, and that was pretty life-saving. It helped me to discover safe, healthier ways to cope with my thoughts and feelings. When I was discharged in 2014, I met with Richmond Fellowship for the first time. I had my assessment, and from day one, I've always been considered in every decision that's made about my care. I've always been involved in the like creating my care plan and signing all the documents with like updates and things like that. So Richmond Fellowship keeps service users involved in the whole process of their care. Like I said before, at first I was a bit nervous with Richmond Fellowship because prior to the suicide attempt, I was often labelled an attention seeker and a drama queen, and people sort of sat up and took things more seriously after the suicide attempt, which shouldn't have been the case really. But the way I was treated by particularly my local crisis team was verging on negligent, I guess. So I was very nervous with the Richmond Fellowship, and the attitudes might be similar, and I might get treated poorly again. And you know, when you're into a mental health service, all you want is validation and kindness and all of the values that Paul was talking about that they've given to Waythrough. So I've got my notes on my phone. Richmond Fellowship have been really life-saving for me. Not just literally and calling ambulances and things if I have been poorly or have coped in an unsafe way, but also by helping me to, you know, go and get my medication and do my food shopping, and it helps me to get out of the house and to have a better social life, I think. So that's been monumental in my recovery as well, is having that support to get out of the house and to feel like I'm living life to the fullest and I'm not just sort of in a little box and being forgotten about. I feel like you don't get that with this organisation. With them being life-saving and bringing ambulances and helping, I think when you're suicidal, a very common feeling is if people intervene in that and you being able to do something, you can very easily feel resentment towards the person who stepped in and who is intervening, because you know you've got it in your head that this is the only way to cope, and this is in your head thinking like that's the right way and it's the only method that'll get you through things. Richmond Fellowship, I never felt resentment towards them after every time they've saved my life, mostly because they have, after saving, they've always improved it, and it's not as though, you know, like I said with the crisis teams, and they would intervene, there'd be sections, but then things would be even harder being in the hospital, and I would feel that resentment and be thinking, how can you not appreciate where I'm coming from and why I'm doing what I'm doing? And I feel like Richmond Fellowship, they don't judge and they're really supportive for thoughts about suicide. And I've got a diagnosis of psychosis, so I have hallucinations as well. Richmond Fellowship have been brilliant in understanding that, and I think there is a lot of stigma and discrimination in mental health and addictions. So I'm sure Humankind face this as well. But I've never felt stigmatised or discriminated against with the organisation. I was anxious about the merger because, like I said before, I was worried there'd be some kind of influence and that things would change. And one of the biggest things in my head, which might sound petty, is trying to get used to using the name when I'm talking about the organisation. And I'll still be saying it probably in a year's time, because when it's been 10 years, saying Richmond Fellowship as my sort of care people, you know, it's going to be a lot harder to try and remember our way through. But because I love the name so much, I think it is going to stick. It feels like a really special and important name. My sort of aims and goals for Waythrough would be the hope that they continue saving other people's lives and not just myself. That they continue helping people into recovery, and I love that one of the was it a value or something about we'll support you until you feel like you are ready to move on. I really like that, because I think with mental health services there's a lot of sort of talk about, like with therapy, it'll be like you get 12 sessions and then that's it, and I really like that Waythrough aren't going to be like that and have that attitude. I hope that the staff recognise the impact they're having on people as well, so that there's some kind of rewarding notion for the staff. I think that I always said when I helped train Northumbria police recruits with mental health training, I always used to say that mental health services and the police and ambulances, they can go to somebody, not literally on a ledge, but maybe sometimes literally, and they've got the power and the influence to talk somebody down from the ledge and to come back over and to be safe and to be productive and to go into recovery. But you've also got the potential to give that person more reason to jump, because the way you're treating a mental health crisis can be fundamental for your future and your safety. I want to say thanks to comms and marketing for all the opportunities I've had in doing the merger and all the work around the branding and everything. When I was in the psychiatric hospital for 2.5 years, I started a website, a blog called I'm Not Disorder. Little plug there, Disorder.uk. It just reached yesterday morning, it reached 1.5 million readers. So Richmond Fellowship have been very supportive of that as well, in helping me to get out there and to go to events and really promoting my use of my blog as therapeutic. I really enjoy writing, and to get things out of my head is really helpful, and I feel like that's recognised with Richmond Fellowship. In saying about staff recognising influence, I also hope that if there was any mistakes or concerns raised, that Waythrough would see this as a learning opportunity and not to take it as like a dig and to be deflated with everything. You can see it and just think, how can we do better and do differently for the next person? Finally, a little quote that I really like for this merger. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination and hard work. And I feel like RF and Humankind have got all of those qualities into this merger. I think that's me. Should I ask if anyone's got questions or just...
No, always good.
No time. Find me if you've got any questions.
Yeah, we've got time.